You think your favorite RPG says something about the games you like to play, but in all reality, it says way more about who you are as a person. It's like a free psych eval where I can read so much into you. The funny thing is, most of you are not going to like what I see there. Or maybe you already know. After I get done with the 10 games on this list, you might know something that you didn't about yourself. So here we go. Well guys, let's start with a series that hasn't had a new entry in 15 years. With the Elder Scrolls. And let's face it, you're here because of Skyrim, aren't you? You're the kind of person who likes to sit back, enjoy the good things, and just let others do things for you. I mean, of course you might demand better things from those people, or say Bethesda, but you're okay with the countless people making 10,000 mods that you now have downloaded on your computer, holding you over for the last 15 years. Probably a bit of a weird place to start, but you are the most implacable person on this list. You're the biggest problem with what we have with modern day meme culture, and by modern day I mean you're still quoting memes from 15 years ago, thinking they're fresh, not realizing that everyone else is rolling their eyes in the room because, yes, I get it, you used to be an adventurer until you took an arrow to the knee, but again, you're here 15 years too late. Please go see somebody and fix this issue. And I know some of you are going to say, well, I'm not here because of Skyrim, I'm here because of the great storytelling across all the games. But let's face it, if you're one of the newer players into the franchise, then you probably have only played the Oblivion remake, and somehow your memes and jokes got even older when you did this. But even for the oldest fans of the franchise, I only know people that go back to Morrowind. And that part of the fandom are the mid-maxing fools that'll ink out any amount of damage they can from the smallest things. Toss a robe over yourself, wear those gauntlets, and be able to wield the most powerful of weapons in any game they play. Anything before this is considered the before time, and the records are sketchy from that era. You have heard of the fall of a dagger, and of the arena, but you've never truly played them. And honestly, if you tell me you play the Nokia phone games, I'm going to shit myself because I think you're lying to me. But here's the true thing about all Elder Scrolls fans. You are pretty much at a genetic level stuck in your ways. This, like many rules, has an exception. However, have you ever noticed that no matter what game you play, you tend to do the same thing? If you sword and board in Skyrim, well, you try sword and board in every other game that offers it. If you're a stealth archer, you try to stealth archer in every game that offers it. You swear up and down that you're going to do that magic build, and 5 minutes in, for some reason you pick up the bow and you're a stealth archer again. It's the greatest curse of being a Bethesda fan. But hey, it could be worse, you could be playing Starfield. Now guys, I want to warn you, a lot of the franchises I chose for this list have an extremely long and storied history to them. Obviously, people who started playing the games when they first came out are not going to have the same mentality or psychological tics as other people. But I'm going to try my damnedest to get all of you as close as I can, so bear with me if I don't get you perfectly. Alright, and with all that being said, it's time for us to move on to the next series on the list with the Witcher series. And let's face it, you're here because of Witcher 3, aren't you? Alright, I'll stop with that joke, I promise. I do get that it's a lot easier to play the first and second games in the Witcher series than it is to go all the way back in the Elder Scrolls franchise, so I can actually see people who have played this. In fact, me and my brother actually started the series with Witcher 2. So I'll actually believe you if you said you played the first one. Now there's a few things I could say about people who actually find the Witcher series to be their favorite one. You could be the history buff, someone who has read into a lot of Norse mythology, maybe even read the Witcher books. You just kind of like to see how the systems of the game coincide with what you actually learned from the history and mythologies of Norse areas of the world. That's very commendable of you. There's not very many people who would actually go out of their way to play a game just because they read a book. It's not like I was recently kidnapped by a group of people who do precisely... you know what? No, we're not talking about that right now. I'm doing these RPGs. Another thing that stands out about Witcher players is while they're not as complex as some video games, you have to actually understand the nuances of how to do the combat system inside of the Witcher games. Yes, you could just be monkey and bash stick until you get the combat done, but between the signs and the different combat styles and the armor sets and everything, you can actually do something really cool with the Witcher series that you can't do in a lot of other RPGs. You're not quite a min-maxer, but you're definitely the kind of guy who likes to tinker with the systems in the games they play just to have a little bit more fun or see how strong you can get the character. Or, and sadly this is a big or, but when it comes to any one of these lists, there's always the reason. And this isn't the biggest reason for people who play this game, but it's definitely a reason you'll go into. And there's others that are worse on this list, but you came here hearing you could have a three-way with a couple of hot chicks, didn't you? You've got Yennefer and Triss, and you're like, hell yeah, and then the game goes, hell no, and cock blocks you. And then you decide, well, let's see if I can do one or the other instead of both at the same time, and you got some good results from that. You're definitely a connoisseur of on the back of a unicorn, are you not? But I would say most of you are gameplay first and sexual deviancy second. Sadly, however, I cannot say that about the next series of games on our list. Mind you, this only began with its most recent release, so we've got Baldur's Gate. Now, there's really two types of Baldur's Gate fan out there. There's people who have played the original 2 games and went into the third one because, well, they haven't had a new one in forever. They love the complex D&D style combat that the previous games had, and we're looking for more of that. Larian Studios, of course, delivers great combat styles between its Divinity games, and when they came over to Baldur's Gate, they brought a lot of that spark into it. So what does being a Baldur's Gate fan say about you? Well, if you come in from 1 or 2, you're most likely the D&D nerd. You could be any of the stereotypes. You could be the lawyer, you could be the mid-maxer, you could even be shiny dice goblin. But you've never moved on from being the D&D nerd. You are cool though. You can come to my game anytime you want. However, Baldur's Gate 3 brought in a different crowd. Yes, it brought in plenty of people who played the first 2 Baldur's Gate. Yes, it also brought in plenty of people who watched some Critical Role and wanted to know what D&D was about. But after the game got out for a little bit and everyone realized that every single NPC, for some strange reason, was oversexed hornbags, well, it brought in a new crowd of people. And also, it brought in a few of the eclectic furries that run around. Why do these videos always go back to having furries in them? I don't know. I can't tell you why. It's not my fault that every game or franchise seems to do it at least once, but Baldur's Gate allowed for the intercourse scene with the bear. So, I mean, there is that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that D&D nerds can't also be freaks, but I'm saying at least with the original 2 D&Ds, you were more of the stereotypical classic D&D guy and not quite the overly enthusiastic sex fiend D&D guy. Anyway, moving on from Baldur's Gate and all of its glories, we go to Dragon Age. And honestly, the people who like this series are probably the most diverse on this entire list, because almost every single time a new game comes out, they change just enough about it that it seems like you're playing a whole new game series and not just a next one in the franchise. Back to deep lore and everything, the Dragon Age franchise has very deep lore, and you really enjoy that. You kind of like the system where you have your teammates helping you out and you can switch between them. If you're one of the people who joined most recently, you thought you were going to do it to become counterculture, but you're not. In fact, as I was talking to friend of the channel, Miss Dainty Frog, about that exact game, even they said that multiple people in the legitimate community did not enjoy what they did with this game. You're the kind of people that have seen a good franchise get beat into the ground and just really want it to make a massive comeback. Your true love of your favorite things is only overshadowed by how much you hate or fear that thing changing for the worst. You don't mind if it changes in a weird way. You don't mind if it morphs into something slightly different but still cool. But once it starts to go downhill, you will be the most vocal of opponents. Okay, finally, I'm out of games with sexual deviancy in it, guys. I promise. And we move into the Knights of the Old Republic franchise. And you guys are Star Wars purists. Probably in your mid-30s or older, who swear up and down that the universe is, well, universal in power, even though it is not. You're definitely the most argumentative here and would like to debate anyone on why your lightsaber is more powerful than my Schwartz. You're constantly in denial that this title is in the argued canon or not categories, and you swear that Kathleen Kennedy was the worst thing to ever happen to Star Wars. You have at least 3 lightsabers that you saw in like a Facebook reel that you really want to own if you don't already have it, and 6 others, and a Princess Leia bikini for that one girlfriend you swear you have. And for some dumb reason, if that isn't bad enough, if all of that wasn't horrible, for some reason, you guys send me May the 4th be with you every May 4th. And guys, it was funny the first couple times. We don't need to see it every year. I get it. It's May 4th. You guys tried to turn it into a holiday. Calm down. I don't need to see it. Oh God, the people who watch this video are going to send this to me on May 4th, ain't they? Shit. Anyway, from one sci-fi universe to the next, we're moving into the Deus Ex franchise. And let me guess, guys, the Matrix is your spirit animal? You've got a couple of leather outfits at home, you enjoy trench coats and acting cool and being cool, and sort of like JP from Grandma's Boy, no matter how cool you act, you're going to be that guy in the corner spying, acting like no one can see you. You guys are probably the closest to conspiracy theorists that exist on this particular list because, you know, that one time they left the Twin Towers out of one of the games and then there was no Twin Towers. Man, they explained it just so perfectly in the game, and obviously the creators of Deus Ex, you know, they had insider knowledge. They knew that was going to happen. Funnily enough, this game does have the most complicated systems in it in order for you to play the game properly. So you guys are also probably the best analytical minds on this list. Because let's face it, if you're going down the stealth route, why the hell would you upgrade the power route? You know, I know that you guys want to make sure that you've got a healthy blend, but you tend to either go pure one way or pure the other in order to properly play any of these titles. But even though you're definitely not a super nerd who probably got picked on a lot in high school, you've got a good sense of humor from it all. You're not one of those bitter nerds who actually want to go do bad things. No, you're one of those, I'm just gonna joke my way through life, try to do one-liners. You probably like a lot of action films now that you're older, but it all secretly goes back to your leather fetish. Well, if you guys don't want me to think you're some kind of leather-clad wearing freak, you could always like the channel. We did recently lose Mons, and guys, he left me this paper here, and I've got to try to follow it because apparently he can't be resurrected with Limbus Company life insurance. So I've got to hold on. Oh my God, guys, Mons has got clones. They're in his basement, and this is a map. I gotta go get Mons. All right, let's go get Mons. Let's get to Mons' basement. Hopefully. Oh shit. Okay. Well, Mons' note here says that good luck. It's highly trapped, but you know, it's good. Subscribe to the channel so you can see us try to resurrect our editor Mons. With all that being done, let's move on from some cyberpunk into Clair Obscur. And I know, Clair Obscur isn't a franchise, it's a single game. So why do I have it on this list? Well, it's my list. Get over it. I'm going to do this. But if you like Clair Obscur, you're French. And finally, after all that shit Ubisoft has done in the last 15 years, your country has finally done something right. And you're proud of it. Or you actually played the game and loved the fluid classic modern JRPG style combat, with the graphic engine of the gods running it. You enjoy the deep emotional ties to the characters, but like your favorite book series, Song of Fire and Ice, you don't mind when your favorite characters are killed off for the realism. Speaking of JRPGs, the next one on the list is probably one of the longest running franchises that I'm ever going to put on one of these lists in Final Fantasy. Let's face it, there are a few of you guys that like every game in the franchise, but for the most part, what people like about, say, the classics games 1 through 5, those people aren't going to be the same people that like the games that are the more modern classics in 6 through 9. And those people are definitely not going to be the guys who like anything to do with 10 or maybe 11 through 16. But there is one thing that I could probably say that matches every Final Fantasy fan, despite which games they like or don't like. And that is, if you are a fan of the Final Fantasy franchise, you guys are the best at suspending your disbelief. What do I mean, you might ask? Well, in no other franchise throughout history, other than maybe Dragon Ball, should the concept of death be such a little thing to the people in the universes that the fact that people die should not matter to you. Do you need some examples? Okay, well, let's look at, say, Final Fantasy IV, when the twins decide to turn to stone in the room to save you. How many of you don't have soft or golden needle on you at this point? There's nothing to stop you from, after the mechanism gets destroyed, just going in and getting them. Okay, how about the most famous scene in all the Final Fantasy, Sephiroth running Aerith through? How many of you are not stocked up on 99 fucking Phoenix Downs at this point? Death shouldn't be a thing that affects people. You literally walk around with 1.5 billion ways to resurrect people, and yet you allow the games to kill characters off, and you suspend the disbelief so much that not even your already suspended disbelief that you are a fantasy character going in and destroying everything can help you from having to suspend disbelief even more. Okay? I've said it too many times. You guys are delusional. You guys, I love the Final Fantasy franchise. I get so much shit because 8 is my favorite one, and that's got the emo boy. If you want me to break down what every Final Fantasy says about you, tell me in the comment section below. I'll break them all down. I don't give a shit. But you gotta admit, we are the worst when it comes to even remotely thinking that anything in these games should be taken remotely seriously when it comes to death, petrification, paralysis, anything. I know you're carrying 99 of everything, because who in a Final Fantasy game doesn't just stock up on potions? You're the reason, the whole reason that, oh, I'll hold on to this until later exists in gaming, okay? You're the one who keeps all of the elixirs in Final Fantasy Tactics because, well, you know, I healed up just fine using the spell. I don't need to use my elixir yet. And then you beat the whole game and you've got every elixir allowed to be picked up in the entire game in your inventory at the end of the game. Whew, sorry, I went on a bit of a rampage there. What's our next game? Yeah, we got Fire Emblem next. Now, there are two things I can say about Fire Emblem players. Either one, you have decided to become the world's grand champion of rock, paper, scissors, because that's how Fire Emblem plays. It's literally sword beats axe, axe beats spear, spear beats sword, bow beats bird, magic beats this. You're just playing rock, paper, scissors. You might be in denial that you're just playing rock, paper, scissors, but you're playing a really good storied rock, paper, scissors. And that's how it has been since the beginning. However, in more modern iterations, you've also decided to become a mad scientist. Someone from the 40s to maybe the 60s, because you've decided that you are also a eugenicist. What am I saying? Well, in my opinion, it all started with Fire Emblem Awakening, with you intentionally matching pairs of your favorite units together in order to have cute offspring that would join you from the future to help fight the ultimate battle. Problem is this ended up turning into a massive eugenics program because, and you can't argue with me, you can't lie to me, you were trying to find the best traits from each parent to add together in order to create the most powerful units that you can get. Even though you didn't have to do that to win the game. You're out here freaking, okay, this one has blonde hair, blue eyes, super strength. I should be recruiting these guys. I mean, no, you were out here trying to make the strongest units possible, and you did it through eugenics. You sick fucks. I would like to say the next group is a lot better, but I mean, the last one on our list is going to be the Dark Souls trilogy. I left Bloodborne off, I left Elden Ring off, and Sekiro off for various different reasons. Yes, I know they're part of this Soulborne, but I was just doing a franchise, and when it comes to FromSoft, I'm not going to lump them all together, that's just lazy. The thing with Dark Souls fans is you're a bit of an eclectic group. You're constantly fighting with each other over what's considered the right way to play the game. The biggest two camps here are either the bonk or some sort of magic system. Yeah, I know there's decks, but bonk and magic seem to be the two biggest arguments. In Dark Souls, there was the camp of the roly-poly, I will give you that. You're the kind of person who holds your nose high and scoffs at the noobs that decided to join after Elden Ring, and then laughed even harder at the ones who got filtered by Elden Ring's DLC. You are the mid-maxers of the RPG genre, and are probably the ones I hate to DM for the most because you like to squeeze diamonds out of a broken sword if you have to. You think you're the edgiest ones in all of gaming, the ones with the most hardcore community, but I've recently been in a community that half of them, at least, are more hardcore than you. The biggest complaint against you guys is you guys like to tell people to get good. In fact, you guys probably coined that phrase. The thing is though, honestly, when it comes down to it, the people who play Dark Souls just wanted a challenge. Most video games seem too easy for them. Most of life seemed too easy for them. And the problem is it's hard to tell exactly what a Dark Souls player would be like. Because people who like a challenge don't just like challenges in video games. Some of you guys might be buff. Some of you guys might be intellectually superior to all of us mere mortals. A lot of you guys are probably just dorks. But in the long run, you guys do like a challenge and you like to play challenging games. Because that's just who you are. Oh, guys, that was a long ass video. I was not expecting to go for over 20 minutes just talking about what different RPG franchises say about the people that play them. Do you guys have any of your favorite things that you would like me to try to psychologically break down what it means about you or the people that play it other than you? Let me know in the comments section down below. And while you're down there, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. We're trying to hit 10K by the end of the year. That'd be really awesome. We also have Twitch, Discord, and a TikTok, so go ahead and join any of those if you guys want to. You don't have to. I'm just happy that you guys are here. And with all that being said, remember guys, be good to each other. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.